Hey people, we made it. We made it to the last month of the year. And now that we have made it this far, it's very important for us to look into our life's garden and to chase out all those little foxes that have been destroying our vine all along. It's time for us to pull out any weed that we find in there that has cheated us of a full harvest. We do not want to carry them over into the next year because they may do worse. They may bloom and flourish in our place, and we do not want that. These foxes, these weeds, are the lies we've been telling ourselves. We did not make it this far just to allow some weed to prevent us from finishing the year strong and from beginning the new one even stronger. So we must take this seriously. These are dangerous lies that we cannot just wish away. We cannot deal with them by just going through some positive thinking ritual. These are lies we can only negate with truth. Strongholds we have to cast down. So if you want to know the top 3 most dangerous lies that we dare not carry into the new year, or you dare not carry into your new season, then keep watching. Hello bloomers, welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Chantal and I welcome you to Shanti Bloom. This is the place where you learn applicable principles, simple practical steps. I like to keep it practical. Practical steps that will help us to move away from unproductivity, feeling stuck, feeling unfulfilled, to where we bloom and flourish in our everyday lives. So if this is a journey that you're interested in, then please consider subscribing. Join us here so that we can bloom and flourish together. So I'm excited we made it to week 4 of our 8-week Finish the Year Strong challenge. Please, if you are behind on the challenge, don't give up. Just rewatch the videos and catch up. I myself, I think I have a thing or two to still catch up on. But in this week's challenge, we're going to look at the top 3 most dangerous lies that we dare not carry into our new year. Lie number 1 is, I'm okay. I'm fine. I've got it all under control. I've got it all figured out. I've got it all together. I know that there is help, but I really don't need it. While this may sound like some positive words of affirmation, it's not. There is a difference between speaking the things which be not as though they were and living a lie. Being in denial in order to protect yourself from the pain that facing the truth may cause you. At times we also tell ourselves this lie because we want to protect ourselves from the shame and the judgment of others if they should see the true picture. Now, when I was preparing for this, there's a song that came to mind. So I quickly rushed to check the lyrics because I couldn't remember them very well. And when I got them, I was like, oh my goodness, I have to read this for us. It is a song by Matthew West. It says, Truth Be Told. I'll just read a few lines of it. It says, lie number 1, you're supposed to have it all together. And when they ask how you're doing, just smile and tell them never better. Lie number 2, everybody's life is perfect except yours. So keep your messes and your wounds and your secrets safe with you behind closed doors. Truth be told, the truth is rarely told. I say I'm fine. Yeah, I'm fine. Oh, I'm fine. Hey, I'm fine. But I'm not. I'm broken. And when it's out of control, I say it's under control, but it's not. And you know it. I don't know why it's so hard to admit it when being honest is the only way to fix it. There's no failure, no fall. There's no sin you don't already know, and that they're referring to God. So let the truth be told. I've equally told this lie to myself at different times and at different stages of my life, and it did not help. But rather the times when I broke down and I cried help, be it from God or from friends and family, I got the help that I needed. How can you deal with a negative emotion that you do not even acknowledge the fact that it exists? How are you going to correct a mistake that you cannot admit you made? How can you get help that you claim you really do not need? Jesus says, come to me all you who are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. A story is told of someone who was carrying a heavy load and another person was passing by in a car and said, come on in, I'll give you a ride. So this person gets into the car but is still carrying their load on their head while sitting in the car. That is us sometimes. We've been given the invitation to come and lay it all down, but we come and we still carry that burden on our head and we pretend it's not there. We say, I'm fine, I'm okay, I've got it all under control. I don't need anybody, I don't even need God. But we do need Him. Just like the song lyrics said, there is no failure, there is no sin, there is no fault that God does not already know. It's not like he's like, oh my goodness, wait, let me go to Google and research on this unique problem of yours that I have never seen before. No, there is nothing that is new to him. So the truth behind this lie is found in John chapter 15 from verses 4 to 5. And God is telling us that what apart from me, you can do nothing. So the next time that you're telling yourself that I'm okay, I'm fine, I've got it all under control, it should not be because you're deceiving yourself. It should be because you know that you're connected to the vine. It should be that I'm okay because I know that God has got me. Lie number 2, I'm not good enough. I'm not fortunate enough. I'm not lucky enough. I wasn't born with a golden spoon in my mouth. I don't have that gold finger that when I touch everything, it turns into gold. And when we start to reduce everything to luck and being fortunate, we also tend to start discrediting others for their hard work. Like, she's just lucky. He's just lucky. I'm not. We tell ourselves this lie. I know that this is one of those lies that we have been told so many times to stop telling ourselves, but we just find it so hard because of the wrong definition of what good enough is. What is good enough? What is rich enough, beautiful enough, successful enough, educated enough? The definition that you have is based on whose standards? We live in a time when everything is time boxed. You must be married at this time, you must have kids at this time, you must have achieved this at this time. And we also measure and judge each other with these crazy, faulty skills. I remember when I used to use some of these crazy skills to measure my progress in life, and I came up with a very faulty picture. I was trying to see in what areas I made progress, in what areas, I'm stagnant, in what areas I regress, so that I can plan accordingly. But when you use these faulty skills, you come out with pictures that is not real. I was scoring myself a 10 in areas where I should be giving myself a 0. And I was giving myself a 0 in areas where I should really be giving myself a 10. So what skills are you using to measure yourself? Whose report are you believing that is telling you that you're not good enough? Many times we even go as far as telling ourselves that, oh, my weaknesses are just so many, my strengths are few, if at all I have any. The challenge we're going to have this week is to write down your strengths and find out ways that you can improve on them. Many times we ignore our strengths and we pay more attention to our weaknesses. Whenever personal development is mentioned, we quickly rush to our weaknesses. We forget that our strength is something we already have to our advantage. Those who succeed in life, all these great people, is not because they didn't have no weaknesses and they had so many strengths. Maybe it's because they just identified that one strength that they have. Maybe in sports, in art, in whatever area, in business, in school, in some particular career, they found out their strength and they added to it, they worked on it, and they stood out. Now, this is not saying that we should ignore our weaknesses, we should ignore areas of our lives that we need to work on. So if you're feeling that you're not good enough, ask yourself this question. Am I feeling that way because I'm measuring myself the right way or the wrong way? Am I using the right skills to measure? And if you find out that yes, you're using the right skills to measure and you're able to find out some weak areas in your life, some things you have to work on, some mistakes you've made in the past, you have to ask yourself again, am I going to allow these mistakes and these weaknesses to define me, or am I going to deny them from defining me? The fact that you have those weaknesses in your life does not mean that you're not good enough, you're not fortunate, and you can never amount to anything. Because when we make true evaluations, we can either fling to that side, or at times even worse, we now build this wall, this defensive wall, like, well, this is who I am, take it or leave it, I can never change. Now, if we go both ways, we limit ourselves from the opportunity to become the best that we can be. Rather, when we look at ourselves and evaluate and find out that there's some weak areas in our lives, there are areas that we need to work on, or there are just some mistakes we've made in the past, whatever, we should rather come before the potter. We are the clay, and let him mold us. Come to that place of abandonment. Let him mold us, to that vessel unto honor, into a vessel unto honor. So you're good enough because you're fearfully and you're wonderfully made. And you do not have to struggle and try to be strong and try to prove yourself, because His grace is sufficient and His power is made perfect in weakness, so we can rely on Him for strength. Lie number 3, it's too late for me to chase my dreams. Now, I'm not going to get into too many details about this lie because I already have a separate video in which I answer the question, is it too late for me to chase my dreams? I'm going to be linking it also in the description box below. But this is one of those lies that really hold people back and even bring us to that place where we start to feel regretful. You have heard people say, oh, I wish I had done this, before the economy got bad. I wish I had done this before the pandemic. I wish I had done this before the war and the disaster, hit. I wish I had done this before I lost that job, and I wish. And normally when we allow this lie to bloom and to flourish, it takes us down 3 paths. It's either you're going to head down that path where you become you give up. You just give up and feel like, what's the point? It's already late. There's nothing I can do. Or it's going to take you down that path of closing your eyes to opportunities because you're not expecting anything. You feel like it's late, it's over. So even when opportunities come your way, you're not even going to recognize them, and you will not even reach out to take advantage of those opportunities because you have already told yourself that it's over. And even worse, when we allow this lie to bloom and flourish, it takes us down that path of being impatient because we feel like, oh my goodness, it's already late. I need to hurry. I need to rush. So we're not patient to chase our dreams and to listen to God, plan with Him, and take one step at a time the way He's leading us. We become impatient. We now start to get into those crooked means for success. We want an overnight growth. We even get into competition, or you're copying somebody. You're just trying to do everything to get to that mark because you're feeling that it's already too late. Remember that you want a growth story or a success story that you can proudly share it to your child. You can proudly share it to somebody else who is looking up to you. You can be able to pull out lessons from your journey that is going to help somebody else. So it's never too late. We are told in Psalm 1 that, we will be like this tree planted by the river and we bear fruit in season. There is a season that fruit is going to bear. How many of you know somebody who had been written off, whose story was just so bad, nobody expected a comeback, but there was, and a big one. It could be you, it could be someone else. There are areas in our lives that sometimes we just feel like, well, this is dead and done. But before we know, it resurrects, it blooms, and it flourishes. And the same thing in the lives of others. There are certain situations or circumstances in other people's lives, even in friends, family, or just something you listen on the news. And at times you're thinking, oh my goodness, how is this going to even turn around? But then it does. And it does so big time. So we cannot ever put a period, at the end of anybody's life, because we do not have that kind of an authority. You're up today, you're down tomorrow. We are like a tree planted by the riverside and we bear fruit in season. So I don't know what you're going through. I don't know how this year has been for you. Do not give up. Do not feel like it's too late. Do not close your mind to opportunities. There are opportunities in store for you next year. But if you believe that it is too late, if you believe that lie, those opportunities will pass you by. If you believe this lie, you're going to get so impatient when next year comes. You're not going to take time and plan and allow the Lord to walk with you and to lead you in little baby steps. I've told you, God often leads in baby steps and not gigantic leaps. And at times we feel like, no, He's just too slow. It's already too late. I need to go so fast. Now, there are so many lies that we do tell ourselves, but in this video, I chose to share with you the top 3 most dangerous lies that we tell ourselves. So I would like to ask you, what are some of the lies that you've told yourself in the past, or maybe you think that you're still telling yourself, or maybe you've watched others tell themselves, and what is the truth that you are using to negate this lie? Please share with us in the comment section below, as it's going to help all of us as we go through this week listing out or identifying those lies that are in our lives and negating them with God's truth. Thank you all so much for watching, and see you next week.